Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, say I can hear you. If you can hear me on Instagram, if you can hear me on YouTube, say I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jaeger illustration. Thank you. So before I bring our guest on, my name is Deborah, like we all know, and I started this platform a few years ago to educate everyone. So, like I was saying, I started this platform a few years ago just to educate women about holistic wellness and bringing awareness to everyone about holistic awareness, how you can look, what that means, looking after yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, in all aspects to make sure that we are all and just not in one aspect, but in every aspect. And this month, we're talking about relationship. And with us tonight, we're going to be talking about relationship with ourselves. And we have a guest on live with us that we'll be bringing on shortly. In the meantime, what you understand by relationship with yourself, I want you to put it in the comment section so that we can all interact. It's be very interactive live. So please interact wherever you understand by a relationship with yourself. Can you put it in the comment section? Thank you very much. You can hear me also on YouTube. I'm getting the feedback. I'm not sure where the feedback is coming from, but I'm happy that we can hear me. And our guest for tonight is Pastor Wura, who is my mentor and my spiritual mom. And she's going to be talking to us about relationship with ourselves. And I'm going to bring her up shortly. And if you have any question while we're on the live, can you put it in the comment section so we can pick it up? Yes.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, ma. Good evening, ma.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, ma. I'm fine, thank you, ma. Good
Good,
evening,
good,
ma.
good.
I'm not sure if you can, people can still hear. Can people still hear me on Instagram? If you can still hear me on Instagram, please, can you let me know? Can you hear me, ma?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear? I want to know if people on Instagram can hear me because I was getting the feedback, so I muted something. People on Instagram, yes, we can see it. Thank you so much. Because I had to mute the feedback. I was getting a feedback and
Okay.
it was affecting me. So I had to mute the feedback. Thank you very much, everyone. And like I said, we're going to be talking about relationship with ourselves. And like I said before, throughout this month, we're going to talking about relationship. So relationship in whatever form, relationship with your colleague, with your husband, with your children. But before we can have a relationship with other people, one thing that is very important is we need to have a relationship with ourselves. And today we're going to be looking in depth about what does that look like? What does that mean? And if you have any question or you have any comment, please put in the comment section. And some questions have already been sent in before today. So mommy will be answering those questions. Please listen out and also just engage also in the question session. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, mommy, for joining us. It's an honor and a privilege to have you on this live today. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
And also thank
Thank
you for
you.
waiting this long because the IT technical issue, we
Yeah.
got there in the end. Thank you, Lord.
We did. We did.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. So I'll just go, we start by I'll go through the questions that already been sent in, and then
Okay.
we start by that. During the course of the live, people might also send more questions in, and I'll read them out to you, and then we can address those questions while we're on the live also. And one of the questions that
Yeah.
has been sent in is, how do you handle the pressure to move on from a negative experience? Before we even go into the question, I want to leave the floor
Right.
to you. I
Right.
want people to understand what we're talking about before we even go into the question, because when we talk about relationship with ourselves, mommy, can you please
Yeah.
tell us what that means and what that looks like?
Okay. So, from my experience, personally, from my
Yeah.
experience, I've grown in my life and everything.
Mm,
I've come to understand that it's very, very important for you to love yourself.
mm,
Before anybody else can love you, you have
mm,
to really appreciate yourself. And I believe that we are formed by the relationships we've had in our lives, by
mm,
our backgrounds, who were our parents were, whether they were there or they were not there,
mm,
what it was like when we were in school, whether we were bullied or not bullied.
mm,
All these things that have happened in our lives over the years, they form us, they make us into who we are. But
mm,
as we grow up in life, as we go through different phases of our lives, we need to understand who we really are, and to understand
mm,
that we are not really shaped by these experiences per se.
mm,
You need to find yourself, and
mm,
and be kind to yourself. One
mm,
of the things I've come to realize in my life is that sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. We want to be like somebody else, speak like somebody else, dress like somebody else. But then because you think that by doing that,
mm,
you get value. But
mm,
no, you have to really look inside, look at your experiences. Okay, fine. What can I learn from how my life has been, how I grew up,
mm,
my background, and all that? But what do I really
mm,
like doing? Some of us don't even know ourselves. We don't know what we like
mm,
doing. We don't know our interests. We are always going after what other people like. Oh, this is what everybody else is doing. Let me jump on it and do it. But is that really what you like doing?
mm,
Does that bring you joy? Do you understand what I'm
mm,
saying? So it's very, very important for us to look inside of ourselves and find out who we are, and not form our own experiences based on what other people say or what
mm,
other people do, but based on who you really are. And you can start by asking yourself questions. Who am I?
mm,
You can start from there. Yeah.
mm. Just before we continue further, mom, if I ask you some question from what you've
Yeah.
said, please can you
Mm-hmm.
introduce yourself? Some of the people on the comments want to know. They want you to introduce
Okay.
yourself so that we have a background of who you are. What do you do?
Right.
Because I've introduced you,
Okay.
but I want so that when we're talking about who we are as a person, they can understand that
Mm-hmm.
you are human like us. You hear us because I
Oh, yeah.
know you are a mom, you're a pastor,
Yeah.
you are an
Yeah.
employer, you are an employee. So we want to know who you are.
Right. Okay. So my name is Wura Laoye. Um, most importantly to me, I'm a child of God. That's
Mm-hmm.
informs all about me. So that's the
Mm,
first thing I'll say about myself. I'm a child of God. And that has really helped me over the years with my identity. And I'll talk
mm.
about that more. So I'm married. I've been married to my husband, Folaolaye, for 26 years. And I have
Wow.
two grown-up sons. Yeah, I've been married for 26 years. I'm a
Wow.
civil servant by profession, and I'm a pastor as well. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, and most importantly, the greatest privilege of my life is that I'm a child of God.
Mm,
So I pastor alongside my husband a local church in Liverpool, the United Kingdom, where we live, and we've lived for over 20 years. So that's me basically.
wow. Before I even go into what you said before, you said something that I'm like,
Yeah,
wow. So you say you are a mom to two grown-up
yeah,
boys, you're a
yeah,
husband, you are a
yeah.
civil
I'm a
servant,
wife.
you're a pastor, you're a
Yeah,
wife. Wow. How are you managing
yeah,
to
yeah.
juggle all these roles and still be able to find yourself and also find time for yourself as
Mm.
your person, who you are as a person? Because me,
Yeah.
I'm just new to this motherhood journey. I'm a wife, I'm a
Yeah.
mom, I'm a sister. So how do you manage to juggle being a mom, being a pastor? Because I can only imagine what it's been like a pastor, because I have been under your leadership for so many years, and it's been amazing to see you over the years. And you're also not just my spiritual mom, but you're also my mentor. So how are you
Mm.
able to mentor me, be a pastor, be a wife, be a daughter? How are you able to juggle all this and not lose yourself in the process of doing that?
Yeah. So you see, one of the things I've learned over the years is that, you know, I can only do my best, right?
Mm,
And everybody that God brings into my life, whether it's my husband, my children, the church of God, my friends, my family,
mm,
of course, I'm being pulled in different directions.
mm,
But while I'm being pulled in all these directions, there's a central theme for me. There's somebody that holds everything together for me, and that is
mm,
God. So, and that's why I started by saying that I'm a child of God. That is
mm,
it's not a cliche. It's not like, oh, it's what everybody says. That is the only way I
mm,
can describe how I've been able to hold everything together over all these years. Because I've come to realize
mm,
that, you see, women, I want to say to everyone on this call tonight, or whenever you're going to watch this, sometimes, in fact, most of the time, we are too hard on ourselves.
mm,
We push ourselves because we are trying to be perfect for everybody else. You want to
mm,
be a perfect mom, you want to be a perfect wife, a perfect sister, a perfect daughter, a perfect owner, a perfect pastor, a perfect employee. But you have to realize that you are
mm,
not perfect, right? So
mm,
I had to realize, number one, that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. There are people that God has brought into my life to love: my husband, my children, the people around me, my family. So, how do I juggle it? I only do what I can do. If I can't do, when my children were growing up, Debbie, sometimes you come to my house, it will look like somewhere where where a war has just happened, because everything is just over the place. And
mm,
I learned how to just stop. Sometimes you just
mm,
have to stop. Because if you don't stop, you're going to break down. And if you break
mm,
down, these people in your life that are relying so much upon you, you'll be of no help to them
mm, mm,
whatsoever. So
mm,
I learned how to prioritize things, do
mm,
this at this time, and thank
mm,
God that I have a wonderful husband who
mm,
supports me, who is understanding. That is very key
mm,
to be married.
mm,
It's a teamwork thing. Marriage is a teamwork thing. So I learned how to stop and say to myself, Wura, you can't do this now. Why don't you
mm,
do it tomorrow? Okay, why don't you leave this till whatever time? okay, I'm going to work now. How do I do this? How do I do that?
mm,
And
mm,
for me personally, I say to people now, as a mom raising young children, if you can go part-time, please go part-time. It
mm,
helps, but you have to learn how to stop. You have to
mm,
learn to just take time out, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes I just take a day off work, take the children to school. My husband takes one, I take the other one. And then I just come back home. It's not as if I'm going anywhere. I just lie down on my bed and just rest till I go
mm,
and pick up wherever I need to pick up from school. Hope that makes sense.
mm. Yes, ma'am. Wow. Yes, ma'am. You said a
Mm.
lot of things. And one of the things that
Yeah.
I want to is take out from what you said is sometimes you just have to stop. Sometimes
Yeah.
you need to stop. I think
Mm-hmm.
these days we get so busy, move, go, 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 go. And it becomes
Yeah.
a circle. And just taking that step to just stop and knowing that you, and also you said something about you cannot be perfect. We are human after all.
Yes, we
So,
are.
but one thing that
Mm.
as you're talking, and I know that one thing I'm guilty about is like, so like mommy gives like, you want to do something, you're not able to do it. And by the time you realize it, you're like, I should have done that thing. I've not done this. I should have done this one. So how can we manage that guilt, that mommy guilt or guilt of, oh, this
Yeah.
is the thing I've set for myself today. I'm not able to accomplish that task I've set for myself today.
Mm. Okay, so um stop being too hard on yourself.
Mm,
That's another thing I've learned, not to be too hard on myself.
mm,
If I set a goal for myself and I didn't meet that goal for that day, there'll be another day. If it's
mm,
something that God wants me to do, if it's something that I have to do that is urgent, that has to do with my children, with the home, with my job, with the ministry, because you can only try. You can
mm,
only try. You can only try. And
mm,
sometimes we fail. And the fact that we failed does not mean that we are failures. It just means that God or somebody else has given us an opportunity to do the same thing another day. We
mm,
moms, we women, we are so hard on ourselves. And I've learned over
mm,
the years to stop being hard on myself, to
mm,
love myself. We're still going to talk about that, to take it easy. So let's say, for example, I wanted to get something, do some shopping, and I couldn't do it on a
yeah.
particular day. That day is gone.
Mm,
So my worrying about it, my getting anxious about it, my fretting about it, what's that going to do?
mm,
Nothing.
okay.
It's not going to help those around me. Neither is it going to help me.
Mm,
So I'm like, okay, I couldn't do this today. I'll try to do it tomorrow. I try to do it tomorrow.
mm,
And sometimes also, it's good to have a support system around you. If you have people
mm,
around you that can help you, please ask for help. Because
mm,
sometimes we think that we can do everything on our own. Over the years, like I was saying, as our sons were growing up, we had someone in our lives, someone who helped us when we couldn't be there with the boys. And
mm,
she was of strength. I was still talking about her the other day. She was of tremendous help
mm,
to us. So it's very, very important that you have a support system. You have one or two or three people that you trust, that you can rely on once in a while. And if things don't get done, then they don't get done. It doesn't
mm,
mean that you can't try again tomorrow. It doesn't
mm,
mean that, you are a failure. It doesn't mean that, because one of the things, Debbie, right, is because
yeah.
we always look at ourselves from other people's eyes, I
Mm,
whatever, because
mm,
you want to look good to people. You want people to think that, oh, you're a good wife, you're a good mother, you're this, you're that. But by whose standards? Who says what? Who decided
mm,
how somebody will be? Who decided, oh, that
mm.
this is the way, does that make sense? That a
Yes,
wife
ma'am.
or a mother should be? Who decides that? well, why can't the father help and do this thing? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm,
So sometimes it's
yeah.
because we're trying to look good to other people, and then we don't get to do these things, and then we think that other people would think that you are a failure. For me, one
Mm,
of the women I listened to as I got married was Pastor Felix Funke Adejumo. And
mm,
one of the things that she said very early on that I learned in my marriage was like, take time
mm,
out to look after yourself. And Debbie, I've
mm.
learned how to do that over the years. I take time
Yes.
out to look after me, to look
Mm,
at, and it's not selfish. It's not being
mm,
selfish because if you don't look after yourself, then when you break
mm,
down, everybody else relying upon you
mm,
will have nobody. So
mm.
look after yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Yes.
If you
Mm,
make mistakes, tell yourself tomorrow is another day to make it better.
mm. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah,
You've said a lot of things there. And you mentioned about that we should use our support system around us because it's very
yeah.
important. Because if not, we're just gonna get burnt out. But I've heard
Mm.
earlier on in our marriage, one thing I struggle, I know I struggle with, and I know one of the things that you said to me then was, I like because I think being in the outfield, you come back home, everything you're busy, it's been a busy day. You just want to come back to a house that is clean, that is relaxed. You just want to, you
Yeah.
don't want to come and the house is upside down. And
Mhm.
I remember that one of the things that you said to me was, you need to learn to overlook things. You need to some things
Yeah.
that is not necessary. It's not if it's not done or if it's there, it's not going to kill you. You're not going to die. Try to overlook it. And I
Mhm.
know some mom will struggle with, oh, like you said before, you have a support system, you have pastor that supports you in taking care of the kids and doing things around their house. But some women struggle to let other people help because they feel like, oh, this person is not
Yeah.
going to do it the way I would do it. They will not wash the plate for
Yeah.
my eyes, but to be like
Mhm.
sparkling through it and looking all spotless and everything. So how do we manage? How do we deal with that? Because maybe over the years they've been used to doing things themselves. Nowadays we hear about independent woman. I'm independent. I can do everything by myself. And
Yeah.
they over the years gotten used to doing things by themselves. So having someone to help them is not something that they're used to. So, what advice will you give to someone like that, and how can they manage and deal with that situation whereby they've gotten used over the years with somebody helping them, or maybe they've probably had people helping them in the past, but they've disappointed them, and they're finding it very hard to trust
Mm.
people now to help them in
Yeah.
situations and all that. So, what advice can you give to people like that, man?
Okay, so what first of all, what I'll say is that it's not everybody that you can let into your life anyway to help you.
Mm,
It's not everybody that you can allow to
mm,
come into your home. When I say support system, please, I don't mean oh somebody should come and live in your house and be helping you
mm,
because you have to be very discerning about that. If that's something that you want to do, you have to really
mm,
think about it, the pros and the
mm,
cons, and pray about it if you are a Christian and seek God's face and ask God to help you,
yeah.
you know. But when we're talking about support system, you see, it's very, very important to see that, your child's school can also be a support system in the sense that if your child is
Mm,
going to nursery, you can take your child like early, earlier than normal, or
mm,
just for them to go like 30 minutes or pick them up like 30 minutes later and say,
mm.
oh, can I, if that is allowed, because
Breakfast
they're in a
club.
secure and a safe environment, understand what I mean? Can I pick up my
Yes.
child 30 minutes later? Oh, you'll have to pay like £5 more. Then you pay the £5 more, but that
Mm,
30 minutes later will allow you to rest before you go and
mm,
pick the baby or the toddler up, from nursery or from school. Now, obviously, people have been disappointed and hurt over the years. I'm not downplaying that, but you have to realize as well that, okay, if you're not the kind of person that likes asking for help, in that area, especially when it comes to your children, then you'll have to create something within your own system, within your own life to help you.
mm,
So, like, do the children go to bed early? When they go to bed early, Is that when you start washing the dishes, start to clean the house, do this and do that? If they go to bed early, why don't you decide that, okay, Monday to Friday, you're always doing the same thing at 9 p.m. every day? The children go to bed by 7. And once they go to bed, you start cleaning the house. Why don't you decide that, okay, on Tuesdays, I'm not going to do that?
Mm,
I won't clean the house on Tuesday evening. When they go to bed, I will also rest. If my
mm,
husband is at home with them, I will go for a walk. I love walking. For example, it's free, you
mm,
know, fresh air, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, it helps. So you can
mm,
start to do things within the house just to be a bit more flexible.
mm,
If you've been, hurt by people, if you're not used to it. Because if you're not used to something, you're not used to something. There's no point in
mm,
forcing it. So you just look at little ways in which you
mm,
can make things, like better. If you are in a church community, for example, and you just see like they have a crèche, they have children's church, and then during the service, your child is there. So you can just rest for that time and be yourself. If you're
mm,
in the house when the children are resting, why don't you rest as well? Oh, the
mm,
house is untidy. Yeah, it's untidy. But then you can always tidy it up another time. Do you understand?
mm,
And it also helps to heal, because if you've been hurt
mm,
by people, you have to heal. Because
mm,
I've been there where I've been hurt by people and I've become paranoid. And what do I mean? Because I've been hurt by people, I found it difficult for some time to trust people, found it difficult to like I wanted to stop helping people.
mm,
I wanted to stop being close to people, and because some of these experiences of the past,
mm,
they haunt us, you see. So but I
mm,
had to learn that, no, I that means I'm stopping. By doing that, I'm stopping being myself. Does that make sense? I'm
mm.
not being myself. I'm turning into somebody else
That you're not.
because of the experiences of the past. Do you understand what I
Mm,
mean? So it's
yes.
very important to look for little things here and there that can help. Okay, fine. You
Mm,
don't trust anybody, but there's a crèche near you, they are Ofsted approved. You don't normally take your baby to a crèche or whatever, or a play center. What do they call them now? Go and
mhm,
find out in your area just for an hour in a week. Can I just bring my baby in just for an hour? And within that hour, you just do your own thing, you rest. And once you've tried it, you see that it helps you. It will help you, definitely.
mm.
Trust me, it will help you.
It does. It does. Thank you so much, Ma.
Mm.
Thank you so, so much.